What's up? I'm Troubleshoot. It's Thursday, the 15th of May. Let's go ahead and speak about the brand new Rust skins, have a look at them in game, and of course, speculate about the price later on. Let's get into it. This week, we've got 12 brand new skins. Starting off at the top, the Cobalt Jungle Container Doors for $2.50, Neon Exit Garage Door, $2.50, Fireflies Wood Storage Box, $2, Heat Seeker SAR, $3, Tire Roadsign Gloves and Tire Boots, both for $1 each, the Tiger Pants and the Tiger Hoodie, also $1 each, a Roadsign Large Backpack, $2, Ruin Sap, $2, BamBOOM AR, $3.50, and finally, another Deep Ruby weapon, the Deep Ruby DBS for $2.50. Let's have a look at all of these in-game. Starting off at the very top, we've got the Tiger Hoodie and Tiger Pants. These, both for $1 each, look really clean. I love how the tiger pattern has come out on these, with the bits of, I guess, tiger pelt or tiger fur stuck on and these little pauldrony bits. It looks really clean, especially on higher graphics options, and around the back it's mostly just black patches with quite a bit of orange in between them. This thing looks super clean, but obviously it's not going to be winning any stealth awards by any means. It's a really great looking skin with a couple of these little plastic clips, things like that. Really well thought of, really well put together, and they match super well. As for whether it'll be worth the money, well, as long as you like the way that these things look, sure, why not? But other than that, you're not going to be winning any stealth awards. From here, I can put on the Tire Roadsign Gloves and the brand new Tire Boots, but of course these are even, well, a bit more difficult to see. If we zoom in here and maybe change to, say, midday, it might be a bit clearer to see. Let's see. Not really. Standing in the sun here, it's quite a bit easier to see. And of course, you can see just how dark these gloves are. They look really good. You can barely see the red and blue lines that we see recurring across this tire pattern, but they mostly appear as just super dark, as you saw in the shadow there. These will obviously be a fantastic blackout edition, even though there is bits of white and other colors on it. Overall, it's very difficult to see in the dark, if at all. And of course, the boots are very similar as well. If you're wearing pants, they'll be almost completely hidden at the very top, and the only bit of color is maybe these little red and cyan lines across the front, as well as this arrow on the heel of the boot. But besides that, these things are super dark, and you definitely won't be seeing them in any kind of shade, never mind at night, things like that. Again, a really good addition to the tire set, but of course, if you don't like the rest of it, well, you might not like these all that much. The gloves and the shoes can be used with any other kit, especially if you're building a sort of cheaper blackout kit, as they work really well for that, and overall they do a pretty good job of disappearing in the shadows. Looking up, we've also got the Roadsign Large Backpack, which comes together really well, and it'll match super closely with the rest of the Roadsign armor, no matter what you're wearing. Just as shiny as the rest of the armor, it's more of a matching style than anything else. Again, no stealth awards for this, and of course, if you're going to be using a Roadsign kit anyway, odds are you're going to be skinning it to match the jungle, desert, whatever environment you're in, etc. This is just a vanilla set, which if I pop it on, looks exactly like this. Obviously, we all know what the Roadsign kit and coffee can helmet look like, but if we flip over to the back, you'll see just how well these things blend in with this brand new backpack. Obviously, using pretty much the same sort of style, everything matches super well. You can barely tell that the backpack's here, as it just blends in with the rest of it so well. It came together really well, but do you think this backpack will be worth anything? Well, we'll speak about that in just a moment. If we move past wearables and into items that we hold, we'll start off with the brand new Bamboo or BamBOOM AK, which is the most expensive item this week. This brand new, very stylized AK goes for $3.50 and looks super clean, very green, and of course has a really cool looking bamboo aesthetic to it. I love how this thing's come together. Truly, this thing could not look better for what it is. It really fits the jungle aesthetic, and of course, being a very similar green is going to be a super difficult thing to spot at all when you're in the jungle, as it blends in really well. This thing is probably one of the best looking AK skins when it comes to niche themed AK skins, that is. If we hop over to first person here, you can get a much closer look at this. It looks even better up front, and of course has a little bit of reflection, as we can see there. Nothing glowing, nothing too crazy. Reloading. The bamboo magazine looks super great, and of course, if we scope in, you can see on the back a detailed skull has been carved into it, and of course we've got this very nice red highlighted center point on our iron sights here, or I guess, well, bamboo sights or wooden sights. I love how this thing looks. Again, it just looks super clean, obviously very stylized, and this thing will vanish very quickly in the jungle or any kind of a grassy scenario. It's amazing. The next one that we'll be speaking about is this brand new sap, the Ruin Sap for $2. This thing is obviously closest to the Aztec ruins that we find around the world with the same sort of a color palette. It matches relatively well, though as you can see, the detail does get a bit pixely, at least when we're looking super close. There's not too much that this is going to match with environmentally wise, but overall I do like the faded, washed out look to it. This thing looks really nice, but it is again a really unique looking skin. Flicking over to first person, this thing's pretty clean. Reloading, here you go. The magazine's similarly Aztec bricky as the rest of it. However, the grip has this black and red tape over it. It's a very light skin compared to, I guess, darker green skins that we've seen before. Obviously, it's matching his style, and again, we have a very nice clean red front iron sight that makes it very easy to spot exactly what you're aiming at. It seems to be a bit more of a common theme nowadays. It's good looking, but of course, I do think there are better looking ones. We'll have a look at the price later on. Then, from here, the next gun we'll be speaking about is this. This is the brand new Seeker SAR for $3, obviously continuing with the Seeker set that we saw last week. I'm pretty sure I showed you this, at least on the Steam workshop, but now this thing has been fully accepted and it looks just as clean as the AK, though I just prefer the general style of that, or I guess general composition. This has also come together really well with these orange straps across the front, but I just think I prefer the AK for some reason or another. Overall, if you're a SAR player, this is obviously a really good thing to add to your collection. We'll have a look at the price of last week's Seeker AK, just so we can see exactly where this one's going to be going. But more interestingly, if we flick over to first person and have a look at this thing, it's super detailed, much like the AK. It comes together really well, really a lot of detail, but most interestingly, if we scope in here, you can see that we've got a hollowed out front iron sight, which is super unique. You can see straight through it. I guess maybe increasing your visibility, if it's even just by, I guess, 0.5 or 1%. Is it a complete game changer? Well, I'm not exactly sure. I don't think we've seen anything like this in the past, and this is super unique, which is really cool. What do you think? Let me know down below. Then from here, moving to our final new weapon skin this week, yet again, another Deep Ruby gun. This is the Deep Ruby double barrel for $2.50, and well, you know how I feel about these things. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of this skin, but we have seen it pop up time and time again. Pretty much the entire collection has been accepted. If you like the same crystally look that we've seen so many times before on the rest of these skins, well, you can obviously add this to your collection. It's very similar and came together pretty much exactly the same way as the other skins, got the same shininess, got the same sort of texture that you can maybe look into a bit. It's pretty cool, but again, it's not really for me. Also, zooming in, you'll see that there's nothing too crazy going on here, except for maybe the tiny little red accent at the very top of the front iron sight. Again, I don't think it's any kind of tactical advantage, not that you're going to be shooting over long range with this thing anyways. A lot of the time, it'll probably be sitting here while you're waiting underneath someone's door. And with that, we've covered, well, all of the weapon skins and wearable skins this week, so let's move on to buildables before we check out price speculation. Starting off at the very top with the Fireflies wood storage box for $2. It's a relatively well camouflaged green and dark gray kind of small wooden box. This thing can obviously very easily disappear in a bush, but of course the glowing fireflies aren't doing anything too good for us. If we flick over to nighttime, you'll see exactly how this thing looks. Obviously it's a bit illuminated due to these fires here, but you can see how much these fireflies are glowing. They are super visible and will be seen from very far away. So putting this thing in a bush and expecting it to be hidden, at least during nighttime, is not something that's gonna happen. During the day, maybe the green and dark gray may hide it, but these fireflies do glow super bright. Do you like it? Let me know. Keeping the nighttime vibe, we've got two more doors here to look at, and we'll start off with the garage door this week. The neon exit garage door for $2.50 is yet another addition in the neon collection, and obviously it looks pretty much exactly the same as the other themed doors. We've got up, down, I don't know, core, things like that, and now we've got an exit, which is pretty cool. We don't have many doors, so it's a exit, I guess. Overall, if you've got a massive client base, this can be a big help. Not too sure what the 5 means, but there is an 05 there. If we flick over to daytime, you can see how it looks in the day. Obviously, a lot less exciting. We've got a sort of dark gray metallic kind of look to it, I guess, cobbled together from leftover bits of metal, things like that. Overall, you're definitely going to be purchasing this if you're buying the rest of the neon skins, as it adds into the collection really well. Again, not sure what the 5 means. Then right next to this, you'll see that we have the Cobalt Jungle container doors for $2.50, which we've seen a little bit before of from the same collection, from the same creator. There are existing Cobalt doors, though these ones are just green and super overgrown. On the inside or the back side, you'll see that it says Cobalt containers with a little bit of info here, and there's a couple of numbers, caution, things like that down here. On the front side, we don't have any of this. It's more just overgrown and dark green. So right over here, this thing is just going to completely disappear in the bush, at least if the wall frame around it fits in with the environment. Putting this thing in a bush, you might not see it at all. Is it enough of a competitive advantage to make this thing more expensive? Well, we'll find out in just a moment. So without further ado, now that you've seen every skin in game this week, let's have a look at the pricing and speculate about what will happen in the future. That being said though, this is just speculating. I'm looking at previous prices of similar items, similar colors from the same creators, different creators, collections, things like that. This is obviously just speculation. My guess is as good as any. No idea why the camera focus is not working with us today, but obviously if you're going to be buying skins to try and flip them for a profit in the future, that's not the best idea. Buy skins if you like how they look. If you're planning on selling them in the future, well, I wish you the best of luck, but with that being said, let's have some no strings attached speculation about price. Flicking over to SCMM, let's start off with some items that exist in collections already, much like the Fireflies wood storage box. This is joining a couple of other Fireflies type skins. We've got a furnace, sleeping bag, metal door, double wooden door, and all of these have gained quite a bit of value, most of which doubling if not tripling in value, which is pretty cool. Will the same be said about this? Well, obviously we can only draw so many conclusions, but based on the rest of the skins in this set, well, things look really good for this box. Then the Cobalt Jungle Double Door, which I mentioned was part of a collection. These are the previous doors that we saw a while ago. While they did go up in value, this is a completely different looking skin, and it would be very difficult to draw any kind of conclusion between these. As well, they're just not even the same sort of style. Yeah, they're based on the same thing with, I guess, the same stickers and logos on it, but they are wholly different things. The Neon Exit Garage Door is joining a huge collection of other neon items, including other garage doors, lockers, and tons of boxes. Most of these have gone up a huge amount in value, much like the neon drop box over here, but small boxes, not so much, lockers, especially not so much, and garage doors even more so. Obviously, if you're in a huge clan base, these may be somewhat helpful to find your way around, but obviously pointing raiders towards the core and things like that isn't exactly the best idea, so I can see why these have fallen out of favor, at least in market price. Doesn't look too good for this one as well, but who knows, maybe an exit sign is different to pointing people around your base, I don't know. Then the Seeker SAR, obviously we saw the AK last week, and this has gained about 11% of its value, so not a huge amount. Was it last week? Might have been the week before. Nope, definitely was last week. This thing's just come on sale, so the price can't be judged too much from this. Obviously, I'd like to think that this price will go up as it's a really cool looking skin. As for whether it really will, well, I'm not too sure about that, but I've got some pretty good hopes for it. But of course, they are just hopes. Moving on past the first line, Tire Roadsign gloves and boots are joining the existing Tire kit, a lot of which has lost some of its value, and some of it has actually gained quite a bit, like the Roadsign vest, poncho, hide shirt, hide pants, which have all gone up in value, at least a little bit. For me at least, it's a 50-50 whether these things will actually gain value this week. Very tough to say, and of course the same is to be said about the boots again here. Then the Tiger Pants and Tiger Hoodie don't come from any set, they're completely on their own, but if we have a look at the pants on their own, there's 159 total pants, and of course expanding this to see other skins, they all look completely unique in their own ways. The last orange pants we had, I guess, were the pumpkin pants here. The last animal themed pants, I guess, maybe, well, probably quite a while ago, if anything. Yeah, most of them have lost a lot of their value. We don't have anything too crazy animal themed. I guess we got a Pookie Bear set, but that's obviously a Twitch drop. Yeah, very difficult to say. I guess maybe bees, but who really knows? Ultimately, again, buy these things if you like how they look, and obviously avoid them if you don't. Switching over to the hoodie, there are 169 total hoodies, and of course, again, we don't have anything too similar to compare it to. Just having a look at previous prices, it's again pretty much just a coin flip whether it'll gain or lose maybe 20 to 30% of its value. There's only a couple of these that have really gained a lot of value, but those are relatively rare nowadays. There's a lot of Twitch drops and things like that. The pool for choice is really big. Moving on to the Roadsign large backpack for $2, there are 20 total backpacks now, so we've got a lot of these skins, most of which coming in the first half of this year with a couple sprinkled in at the end of last year. Most of last year's skins have lost quite a bit of their value, 3 of them being Twitch drops except for the Nomad themed backpack, and this year, while I think as many that have gained have also lost value, we've seen value gain in the colorful Sweetie Easter backpack, Hatched backpack, Ultramarine backpack, obviously, and the Hard Collector backpack and the Bombshell backpack too. This is sort of more themed towards existing things like the Arctic backpack and the Desert Nomad, maybe the large hazmat backpack as well. I think it's probably just a coin flip as to whether this thing will be worth it, but it does fit in super well with the rest of the kit. And again, a lot of these backpacks fit in really well with specific outfits. Is the Roadsign kit going to raise its value? I'm not too sure. The Ruin Sap is joining a couple of other Ruin skins, including the Ruin AR. This went up hugely in value, and the Ruin SAR here as well. Based on that, maybe price will go up, and hey, that's actually pretty cool. I did not see that face on the magazine. Very difficult to see, but that's there too. Pretty cool. We can only really draw conclusions from these other weapon skins here, and of course, compare it to the other 77 other SAP skins. Yep, take from it as you will. The BamBOOM AR, hopefully we see more BamBOOM skins. This thing looks really well put together, although AK skins are a super oversaturated market. There's 257 AK skins, which is a huge amount. A lot of these are Twitch drops, and most of them have lost a huge amount of their value. It's really a gamble to try and hope that an AK skin will go up in price, as they very rarely actually do. For example, the median price is down by $1, and there are a ton of these things in the market. Obviously, the outlook based on that doesn't look too good, but this thing is super clean. If we specifically look for green AKs, maybe Divine Balloon counts, but beyond that, I'm sure you'll find more. Maybe Mythical Dragon, that's a bit more brown. Yeah, we don't have too many green ARs. Maybe the Military AR, that went up a tiny bit in value. Although, yeah, most of these have lost a huge amount of value. Ruin AR, that went up quite a bit. Toxic Wolf, I guess it's sort of green. Yeah, it's very difficult to draw a conclusion to this AK based on color. Overall, I like how the thing looks. I'll probably be getting it at least to keep it. Finally, the Deep Ruby DB, obviously joining a couple of other Deep Ruby skins, all of which have lost quite a bit of their value. I'm not a huge fan of how these things look. Maybe you are, maybe you can add it to your collection, but based on these and my overall liking on it, I'll definitely be skipping out on this skin this week and probably whatever the Deep Ruby skins come out in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much that. We've run through all of these skins and had a look in game, so hopefully you found this video useful, if not somewhat interesting. Thank you all for watching. Mine's been Troubleshoot, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao.